So good evening, guys, and I hope you're able to see my screen. Please put your queries or anything in the chat box so that I'll be able to respond to you. So this is a YouTube session, so where in which you can put all of your queries, right? So welcome back again. So my name is Praveen, and I am a researcher at the Indian Institute of Science, pursuing my research in the field of hypersonics. And today we'll be focusing on the post gate counseling. Basically, now the results are out. And you might have some doubts whether to apply for IITs or IIScs or the tier two colleges or sort of. So I will try to enlighten you in this session, so that you gain some idea, about what what is there in IISc or what is there in IIT. So my session is exclusively focused towards IISc. I'll tell you what are the programs available in IISc and what is the duration of each and every program, how is the coursework, and what is the necessary prerequisites, and what are the courseworks that you need to do. And towards the end of the degree, you have to submit a dissertation in each of these three programs, right? Okay, so let's get started. So as you know, IISc is the topmost research institute in our country, and they publish, they put patents, like two patents for like 5 days a week. Thereby, they'll. I mean, if you look at the statistics of the year 2023, they published around for 143 patents, which is for over a period of 365 days. So it's like two patents every 5 days. So innovation is at the heart of IISc, and apart from innovation, you have entrepreneurship. So there are few startups which are getting incubated. Some of them work in the field of deep techs, and some in ML, RL, AI, some and sort of stuffs. So in IISc, the key distinguishing factor apart from IITs or this thing is, in IISc your education starts at a master's level. You also have an undergrad in IISc, but the thing is that undergrad's syllabus is, it's like you have pure, it's like pure science or pure math courses. You have only four options in undergrad. You can either do a bachelor's in master maths or physics or chemistry or biology. Okay, whereas in IISc it starts with, if you want to specialize in something, let's say aerospace engineering or mechanical engineering, starts at the master's level. So which means you have a much higher exposure, and the teacher to student, faculty to student ratio is higher in here, right? So which means for every 5 or 6 students you have one faculty in here. This is not the case with other IITs, where in which the utmost the focus of the faculties would obviously be on undergrads because they are of much higher in strength. So there is that issue in IITs. So in IISc, it's pretty easy for faculties to manage all the students, right? So like I said, no, it has achieved a QS ranking of number one, according to the citations per faculty, and it's also the number one has achieved the number one ranking in the National Institute of Ranking Framework. And the objective is to keep on innovating. And recently you might have seen some articles where in which certain professors have said that the water level in the ground table has gone down, by Professor Ramachandra from the Department of Center for Sustainable Technologies. So let's get started with our department, the Aerospace Engineering. So it was started in the year 1942. So now they offer three programs basically. One is an MTech coursework program, another is an MTech research program, and third one is a PhD program, each catering to a different set of people, right? And there are four verticals in this aerospace program. They are aerodynamic structures, propulsion, and control. And sometimes many faculties work at the cross at the intersection of these verticals. Let's say some work in FSI, meaning fluid structure interaction, which is at the intersection of aerodynamics and structures, and some work at the thermostructural analysis, which is at the intersection of propulsion and structures, and so on. So right. So our department consists of 32 faculties, out of which close to 10 to 12 are professors. They have rich experience on doing experiments or developing solvers. So everyone, let's say you have a bachelor's in mechanical or aerospace or some other field, and you will find some faculty who will be working in your domain. Let's say if your interest is in solver development, then you have faculties who work on solver development, and at the end you will be required to write up a solver that solve some equation. If you want to be a pure experimentalist, you also have facilities. Instead of that facilities in our institute, where in which you will be doing some testings relevant to, let's say, in my case, we work on hypersonic testing, so we use shock tunnels a lot, and in subsonic cases, we use turbulence-free wind tunnels, and so on. So you have n number of facilities. For structures, they work on structural health monitoring systems and so on. And propulsion, the key driving factor is the green energy initiative such, so it goes on. And controls, obviously, ML, robotics, everything clicks into control. So everyone will have their own field, depending upon the availability of the faculties and the interests of the students, prospective candidates, then they will be able to do some work in these fields, right? Okay, so like I said, no, there are three programs in aerospace engineering: MTech coursework, MTech research, and PhD. So MTech coursework is like, it's like a coursework based program wherein which you will be, you will be required to take around 15 courses and for 3 semesters, and in the final semester you will be required to work on a problem, and ending with that you will have to publish a thesis. Okay, and MTech research is like a less coursework intensive course, but it's more of a research intensive, wherein which you will have to take up a problem from the second semester itself and start working towards it and publish a dissertation, and if possible you can also publish some papers. And PhD, it's like a 5-year program, wherein which you take up some challenging problem and try to bring up a novel solution, and each caters to a specific set of students. If you look at IISc, MTech coursework is the most in-demand program because the cutoff scores, which I'll just show you in subsequent slides. For MTech, it's highest. It's probably the highest, and MTech research is relatively lower. Not trying to berate that, but that's a fact. So let's say for a general category student, you need around a gate score of 890 something, which is around rank 4 or 5, something like that, right? And in MTech research, so you will be required to take around 4 to 5 courses, which you can do it completely in the first semester itself. Following that, you can just start working on your dissertation problem, right? And in PhD, again, you have fellowships which are provided by the institute, which you can avail, or you can avail the PMR of Prime Minister's Research Fellowship, which you can, which helps up, setting up all. It provides you some sort of all sort of funds, like contingency funds, wherein which you can buy your own computers, So, and you also can avail a foreign trip, where you can go to conferences and present papers or sorts. Okay, so these are sort of some perks, which are available in IISc.
Praveen, you got the screen share got
Okay, so
disappeared.
one
Can
second.
you please
Yeah,
share again and discuss?
1 second. Okay. Right. So in PhD, again, let me just reiterate what I said. There are uh, two types of funds. One is the institute funds, where you get an monthly stipend of 31 37K for the first 2 years, and you get a funding of 42K for the next 3 years. Whereas this is one type of funding, and the other type of funding, you get a PMR of scholarship, where in which the funding will be around 70K per month, and this is for 5 years, and this will help you, sustain your life in IISc, right? And in MTech program, MTech coursework, the funding remains the same. It's 12.4K per month. You obviously know that. And for coursework, it is only, this is only supported for a period of 2 years, whereas in MTech research, it is supported till a period of 2.5 years, which is basically 2 years and a semester. And after that, you can avail HRA with the help of your guide. Okay, right. So if you guys have any questions, you can just post it in here, right? And the coursework in IISc, it's like, so in first semester, you have some set of mandatory courses which you have to take. So I'll just put it in here. So there are core courses and there are elective courses. So you have to complete all of your core courses within the first semester, okay? Or if you want to skip one course, you can just retake it in the third semester, okay? So mostly you can take all the core courses in the first semester, and from the second semester you can start taking up elective courses, which can be interdisciplinary, or you can take it within the department itself. It's up to the discussion of the candidate, right? And the coursework, I can guarantee that it will be like you have to put in a heck of a lot of work in here, because every assignment that they give is like you'll have to brainstorm, sit with your peers, and then sort it out. Okay, it's like that. Okay, it's not a piece of cake, by the way, right? Okay, right. So what do you need to enter into IISc, for doing a master's or an aerospace? Is you need to have a bachelor's degree in engineering or technology, or you can have a bachelor's in science, which is basically physics, mostly physics papers, and with a valid gate score in these following six papers: aerospace, mechanical, civil, electrical, electronics, and an XC paper, right? Okay, and following that, for MTech coursework, let me just write it in here. MTech, let me put it bracket as C. The admission is purely based on 100% gate score. So it means if you have a very good gate score, you are sure to get an MTech in IISc. For an MTech research, it will be a combination of gate score plus your performance in the interview. And this is applicable for PhD as well, right? So in the interview, the panel members will be asking you to specify the domain, from which you need to be questioned, and you can specify one of the four domains: aerodynamics, propulsion, structures, or GNC. You can specify that, and then they will be starting to ask basic level questions from the field that you specify. Right? It won't be hard. But you need to be uh, sound. You need to have a sound background in the basics. Let's say if you specify aerodynamics, you need to have a sound knowledge of fluid mechanics, thermodynamics, and you need to have a very good knowledge of gas dynamics and boundary layers. Basic knowledge of boundary layer would suffice. And if you specify propulsion, you need to have a knowledge of aircraft engines, jet propulsion, and gas dynamics as well. And structures, you need to have knowledge of strength of materials, aircraft structures, and a little bit knowledge on the foundations of FEA or FEM. And in GNC, it's all about controls only. So if you have a very good knowledge of controls, so you are good to go into that. And you can only choose to appear in one of the four verticals. You can't appear for interviews for all the four verticals. Okay, so this is a very important point to ponder. Okay, so be careful and choose your specialization that you work on. And mind you, like I said, this is applicable only for the masters in research and a PhD or a PhD candidates. Okay, for coursework, it's only so you have a gate score, you can just apply into the ISC portal, and you can just you will get a admission if you have very good decent score. Okay, so just a point to emphasize. So now that your results are out, so you have to start applying for individual institutes. Okay, so you can't just leave that with the gate score, no automatic institutes will call you. It does not happen like that. So what you need to do is so start applying to each and every institute. When forget whether you get don't doubt yourself, whether you will get into this X institute X or institute Y. Just start applying to all institutes. Basically aerospace is offered in like what: IISc, IITM, IITB, IITK, and IITKGB, right? So you have five institutes. You can apply for all those five institutes. And once the counseling happens, so before that you have to register into
Yes,
plus one.
Praveen, there are nowadays many options. Actually, we have done one session on that also. So they
Hmm.
must apply. They should not worry about what rank they got. The
Hmm.
matters most is gate score. So,
Hmm.
uh, yeah, please continue.
So yes, sir. So once you apply for all these five institutes, you have to register for the GOPS portal. So you can refer to videos on those in our IGC channel, and they will provide all those details, right? So please register for each and every institute. Okay, don't just expect that the institute will call you up and send you offer letter. It won't happen like that. Okay, If you don't register, it's your loss only. Okay, right. And the registration fee is around 800 for IISc, right? Right. Okay. So having said that, so let's go ahead with what the prerequisites you need to excel well in the field of aerospace engineering. Let's say to survive the first semester. Okay, basically. So you need a skills on engineering mathematics, which includes linear algebra, vector calculus, differential equations, PDEs, numerical methods, right? And if you're lagging any of these fields, please brush it up by referring to some standard books which you have used for your gate preparation. Following that, you need to have your domain knowledge. Let's say if you are from a non-aerospace background, let's say if you are from mechanical, you start prepping up on the strength of materials, thermodynamics, heat transfer, and sort of subjects, right? Right. And like I said, in your first semester, all courses will be a basic level course, right? So uh, you have 5 courses in the first semester and a lab. So the 5 courses are, so if I just write it in here, so you have a course on fluid mechanics first, and then you will have structures course, and then you have a propulsion course, and then you have flight and space mechanics course, and you have a basic GNC course, guidance, navigation, and controls course. Okay, so all of these courses are graduate level course, meaning you can't expect the faculty to start right from the scratch. Okay, so it would be better if you start brushing up a little bit. But if you ask any basic questions, faculty will be there to help you. Okay, so all these courses, they're like bridge courses, so that even candidates from non-aerospace background don't have the difficulty in reading those subjects. Okay, so these are the core courses which are mandated in the first semester. Along with that, you have one laboratory course which you have to complete it within the first semester. Okay, and once you've done that, your first semester is done. And from the second semester, depending upon your interests and your guide's consent, you can choose courses from other departments, depending upon such that it leads in the direction of your project. Okay, right. And please brush up on your domain knowledge, basically, so that it will helps you in understanding the concepts, right? And next, you need a good knowledge of basic flight physics or the aircrafts. Okay, this is one thing. Basically, you need to have knowledge of aerodynamics and flight mechanics, which includes stability and control studies. Okay, nonetheless, these will be covered in this course. This graduate level course on flight and space mechanics. They'll start right from the stability equations and then end up with the Hohmann and bi-Hohmann transfer of orbits. Okay, right. And apart from this, not only theoretical knowledge is sufficient, you also need some basic programming skills. You can have skills on MATLAB or Python or any language of your choice. But I mostly emphasize on MATLAB and Python because that helps you because they have some inbuilt solvers you can just easily use to get some solutions. Okay, so let's take this subject, flight and space mechanics, for instance. So you are given some assignments wherein you have to use some commands, let's say like ODE45 in MATLAB to get arrive at some numerical solution. Okay, right. So these are some prerequisites. So if you don't have any programming skills, so fret not, you still have about 4 months time. You can just pick up some courses on MATLAB and Python, and you're good to go. And please feel free to put any questions in the chat box so that it helps us, and I can answer you that. Okay. Right. And how to crack interview. This is a very vital part. Okay. So normally the interview will last for 30 minutes to 35 minutes. That's what they will do. That's what every panel will try to, fix it for one candidate, because they will receive around like 500 applications and they will have to process through each and every applicant, and then they have to conduct interview. Right. So once your interview dates are out, so start preparing and come to IISc and then specify your vertical or the domain which you want to work with, and then some questions will be shot at you and you have to answer that. So basically they start with some basic question and then they will build upon those set of questions. Okay, it's like if they ask you write on the Navier-Stokes equation, then they will ask you what are the convective terms, what are the dissipative terms, and then they will build up more and more. Okay, if you're specifying CFD, if you're specifying gas dynamics, then they will ask you to write down the shock equations, and then they will further build up on that. If they ask you some structures equation, they will ask you to specify compatibility relations and so on. So again, so basically all the questions which are asked in interview are basic level, which only lets them test your understanding of the subject basically. Okay, so it's neither easy nor difficult. If you have sound knowledge, you can easily ace through the interview, right? So it's not an issue, like I said. And you need to also, prepare questions from mathematics, okay? Because they'll give you a problem basically, and let's say you're given a domain and you have to solve some equations numerically, so you have to be prepared at that, okay? So you need to be thorough in those numerical parts as well, okay? So please prepare mathematics thoroughly as well, because that also carries some weightage. Okay, right. And this was the closing score for the gate and for ISC in the year 2023 FAM, right? As you can see, the cutoff score is pretty high for the general category. For you have around 988, which comes to around R1 or R2. I'm not sure. I think it should come around R1 or 2. And you can see all the scores. So recently in 2023, ISC introduced a quota for women candidates. It's like a supernumerary seats, wherein like the total number of seats in aerospace engineering is like 20. So I'll just write that down over here. I have 20 seats, and apart from these 20 seats, you will also be studying with defense sponsored candidates. So plus, let's say you have 6 extra seats; those are reserved for sponsored candidates. So those candidates will be from Air Force or the defense establishments, or from ISRO or DRDO. Right. So basically, you will be studying with people from diverse backgrounds, and those people will have some knowledge in their field, basically. So you can interact with them, and that will be very helpful for you, right? So that's one thing. So for civil engineering, you can see the gate score. Only one candidate has applied, and he has got into with a very good score of 915. So, like I said, these are the eligible papers, which with which you can apply for aerospace engineering, or six papers, so you can easily get into it. Again, so if you are a general category candidate, you need to have a higher gate score, or else you have to sit for MTech Research or apply for other institutes. But fret not. It's like if you don't get ISC, it's not like the end of the world. You have also other very good institutes like IITM and IIT Bombay. IIT Bombay has fine programs on controls, and IIT Madras has a very good program on propulsion. Okay. Likewise, IISc has a very good program on controls and aerodynamics as well. So we have n number of research opportunities in hypersonic flows and turbulent flows. Okay. So you have work there. Okay. So it's not like you don't have anything. Okay. Right. So these are the areas of research, that they currently that is currently actively pursued in ISc. So first is the low speed aerodynamics and the high speed aerodynamics, and next is on the combustion instability and structural health monitoring. So in high speed aerodynamics, around 4 faculty are actively involved in research of shockwave boundary layer interaction, or turbulent flow interaction, the turbulent flow studies. And in low speeds, you have around 3 to 4 faculties who exactly work on small scale, subscale interactions. And in hypersonics, you exactly have 3 faculties who are all associated with our lab. They work on shock interaction, shock boundary layer interaction, so on so. And in thermal fluidics, you have around 2 faculties who work on this. It's a niche area, so they work on this field. And in guidance and navigation of UAVs, you have exact a count of 5 faculties who work on this field. And Professor Omkar is a renowned faculty who works on development of drones and drone-related algorithms. And in the field of computational fluid dynamics, you have 3 to 4 professors who are actively engaged in development of solvers and certain schemes for optimizing your algorithm. And in the field of vibration acoustics, you have around 2 faculties who work on maintaining, who work on industrial problems, And in transition and turbulent flows, you have 2 to 3 faculties who work on this. And composites, you have 4 faculties. And in trajectory optimization, you have 1 faculty. And in remote sensing, you have 2 faculty. So basically, you have n number of faculties who work on each and every topic. So there is an abundance of problems in IISc which faculty pick up and work on. So it's not like only one lab can work on one problem. In IISc, the hunch is that each lab works on an interdisciplinary problem. Okay, that's what every faculty aspires to do. Okay, such that they are able to arrive at a novel solution for a problem. Okay, so that's what is that's what lies at the heart of IISc. Innovation basically, right? Okay. And this is the key point that everyone must be pondering. Is there any placement coming up, or any companies visit IISc? So some of the past recruiters, are from IISc are Airbus, Siemens, Rolls-Royce, and ExxonMobil. JP Morgan comes, GE comes in, Caterpillar, Boeing, UTC, MathWorks, even Mercedes-Benz comes in, and Agnico Cosmos. So these are some of the good recruiters. Apart from that, you also have recruiters from the field of ML and AI. So let's say people who work on robotics. They will have a number of opportunities in the field of robotics, and people who work in the field of aerodynamics and propulsion, they will have opportunities in CFD based companies like Ansys, for instance, or you have Triveni Turbines, which is a product based company. So you have a number of companies visiting the campus around the year. So how the placement activities commences, like after your second semester, you have an option of either either opting for internship, or you can work in your lab. It depends upon your faculty's permission as well. Okay, and if you, let's say, you get an internship and you work for 3 months, that duration is from May to July. You have to work for 3 months. After that, you have to resume your academics back in IISc, right? So let's say you complete your internship. Post that, let's say you are able to convert that internship into a full-time opportunity. You can also do that. It depends upon the company's vacancy limits, right? So there is that to it. And apart from that, you can also convert your master's into a PhD within IISc, or if you want to pursue a PhD overseas, your guides or the faculties in our department will help you with that by providing LORs to you, which is a letter of recommendation, right? So you have ample opportunities. You'll get guidance from all of your peers. Let's say in our lab, we have so many PhD students. We look upon them, to get some insight into what should we be doing. Okay, so you have help. Okay, help is there in IISc. Okay, that's what is guaranteed in here, right? Okay, so this is all about from my side, and let me see if there are any questions which are posted. Okay, so first question is, what's the rank required for IISc? So like I said, no, for general candidate, it's like closely around rank 4 or rank 5 at the most, not exceeding 5 or 6. For OBC, it's like 18 to 20 or 25, and for SST, it goes on. The pattern, you can obviously predict it, right? And if you are, let's say, if you are from mechanical background, who are applying with the mechanical score, it will vary. Let's say if you have a very good rank, let's say 50 or 60 or 100, you can easily get into aerospace. Okay, because at the end of the day, what matters is the gate score. Okay, if I go back to this slide over here, it doesn't specify your gate rank, it only specifies your gate score out of 1,000. Okay, so you have to be careful on that. Okay, so that will be released in accordance with your gate scorecard, which you can download it from the IISc website on 23rd March, if I'm right. Okay, so you can just look
Yeah,
up scorecard.
one query is there, Praveen. How many seats are there?
Yeah, so around 20 seats, sir. And
20
plus you have
seats.
a 6 seats for
And
sponsor.
those 20 are all including sponsored candidates?
No, sponsor is excluding, sir. Like I said, 20 seats plus 6 sponsors. So we'll have around 26 seats. Yeah.
Okay,
This,
six
this
for
is
sponsor.
exclusively for master's students, sir. And MTech research and PhD, it varies from
That
faculty
is
to faculty.
different. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
Masters,
yeah,
MTech 2 year, I'm
yeah. For
asking.
MTech coursework, 20 seats is fixed, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. So one more thing, like some other branch toppers also joined, right, in aerospace.
Yes.
That's why in aerospace, general candidate need to have a very good rank, right?
Yes, sir.
Especially
Yeah.
one digit rank. Yeah.
True.
So
Yeah.
last year from IGC we got around 11 student, Praveen.
Yes.
In EWS still I think AR 31 or 33 also got it. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. So it depends. In general, if I know, I think 11 AR 11 got. There were quite number of students. Actually, I'm not sure in general what was lowest score from IGC. I think in
Mm-hmm.
one of the session I provided. Let me check
Mm-hmm.
quickly from
Yeah, sure.
IGC in general.
Mm.
Mm, because when I saw that time, are these cutoffs are 2023 admission cutoffs?
Yes, sir. 20. They are. Let me just write. It's for 2023, sir. These are the closing scores.
Okay, then let me check from
Mm.
IGC students in general. What was the cutoff for ISC? I think 749 actually.
Mm-hmm. Okay, sir. 749. I
Okay,
think it's here.
from
Yeah.
my IGC student for MTech,
Mm.
2023 admission, 749 was. I'll just
Yes, sir.
share 749.
Yeah, it's here.
Uh,
749. Yeah.
yeah, and
Woman code. Yeah.
740 for EWS and 749 for
Mm.
OBC.
Mm.
I'll just share. So what is score required for MTech research?
Research.
I think they call for interviews, so it
Yeah.
should be
So the minimum
650 plus.
score is it's around. You have to get a score around 600. If you have a score above 600, you will get a call for attending interviews for an MTech research. And once you let's say after you attend the interview, the final results will be purely based on the interview, right? So once you are able to get above this score, you can attend interview and you can get admission if you are able to do it well, right? So that's the thing. And next question is, what's the minimum score required to join ISC? Like I said, no, it varies from category and varies for across disciplines. So you can check into the ISC website, by looking at their previous year cutoff scores. Rough, vaguely, I can provide you the ranks and the closing ranks. For general category, talking exclusively for aerospace only. For other streams, it varies because
No, 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 no. Again, it very years to year, Praveen,
hmm,
because 649 gate score rank
hmm,
should be around 25 around. Okay,
hmm,
last
okay,
year. So
okay,
this very, and I think when I was checking, the cutoff was not available.
hmm,
Exact cutoff
hmm,
for. Mm, admission cutoff.
hmm,
Let me check here for ISC in
hmm,
general.
hmm.
Yeah, general. Let me check in my IGC database. What was the
Yeah,
rank?
yeah, sure.
Because in general, 25 ranker got admission actually in ISC. Okay,
Hmm.
Vidhi
Yeah, yeah.
Patel. Okay, in
Hmm.
general, the
Hmm.
person can be no other category also. Sometimes people don't share. I'm not sure. So
Hmm.
AR 8 also got in general
Hmm.
category.
Hmm.
So it is like 10 plus minus or
Yeah, yeah.
sometime
So
sometime non-aero branches people do not join, then that cutoff
yeah.
may be later. Yes,
True. Yes, 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 yeah.
thank you. Yeah, so
Okay.
other doubts?
So as I have some questions, I'll just answer them so one by one. Yeah. So, like I said, no. So scores will vary upon each and every year. So I advise you to just look at the gate score of each and every year so that you have an idea about it. Okay. Right. Next question is, will college provide internships or should we search ourselves? No, no. So, like I said, no. Companies will come for around the year. Let's say if you want to start applying for internships, so from month of January, which is the beginning of the second semester, you will be sitting through each and every company, and you will, if you are able to get into a good company, it's up to you, right? So companies will visit campus, and you are required to apply to each and individual companies by uploading a resume and all of the details. So obviously, so to put the answer in a single line, yes, ISC helps you in inviting companies so that you are able to get a decent job at the end of the day, right? Okay. So how to apply for MTech? So please visit the website isc.ac.in. Okay, and please follow further instructions on the website. Right. And what
I will
course
add
required
some
for?
point. So student first need to register on COAP, and
Yeah,
then they
COA.
need to apply to individual institute. So I
Yeah.
think Lohit, you are still in third year, so you should not worry about that. Okay.
Yeah.
Any more doubt, guys?
So please feel free to put it any questions in the chat box, and we can just answer your queries.
Okay. So I think we
Yeah, I
have
think.
answered most of the queries, I think. Yeah,
Yeah,
so thank
yes.
you, Praveen. The result just came, so they
Mm-hmm.
may be little worried. They may ask
Mm-hmm.
later us, so we'll have a separate session, internal sessions for our student later
Sure, sure.
on all that
Mm.
queries, and we'll answer. So, yeah, we
Okay,
can
sir.
end this session. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Yeah.